Hi guys, how are you doing today? So as I promised you guys yesterday, I am making a video about my keto journey so far, the lessons that I've learned, the tips that I have, how my body reacted to keto, and all the good things. So yeah, let's dive into it. So first of all, keto is a high fat, low carb diet. So typically what that entails for me on a daily basis is my meal is probably about 5% carbohydrate, and majority of it will be fat, and meat of it will be protein. So the idea is to get your body to run on fat instead of carbs, because typically your body runs on carbohydrates, and when your body runs on carbohydrate, then you're not losing the fat that you have in your system, and those fat that has already been stored, whether it is in your in your gut area, or wherever. So when your body starts running on fat, then those fats is being burnt, and that's how you lose weight. So with keto, I started keto May 1st. So this is August 21. So roughly 3 months and some weeks. It's going to be 4 months in September. So I'm very excited. This is by far the longest I know I have been in a lifestyle change that sustained. The reason why I am very impressed with keto is because I don't have to change the things that I eat. I just have to modify it to be keto friendly. What I mean by that is, okay, for instance, as African and pretty much anyone who is from the Caribbean or from Asia, our food, almost every meal consists of rice. So almost every meal consists of either rice or a high carb diet. So with keto, I'm still able to eat rice, just not the typical rice. I will tell you guys when I do eat rice. When I talk about my cheat days, I'm going to tell you guys about that. So I eat. There is a konjac rice. There is a cauliflower rice, which is my personal favorite. I love cauliflower rice, and it's all about making it the right way. If you're going to be eating it with stew, it's better you microwave it in a bag that it comes in, because then you can still have that crunchiness to it. So so far in my keto journey, it's been really good. When I initially started, obviously there was that transition phase where my body was trying to rid itself of the carbs that I still had in my system, and then transitioning into running on fat. Obviously I think I had an energy crash, but it was not major. If anything, I remember specifically I did have a boost in energy, and I was literally like waking up earlier than normal and having this high energy and just going through my day like bubbly and smiley and hyper. And I don't even drink coffee, so it wasn't from anything from coffee. I do drink coffee, like I haven't had coffee since February. So I do drink coffee, but it's like once in a while kind of situation. And that's one thing I like about keto too. If you're somebody who drink coffee, you don't have to stop drinking coffee because you are doing keto. You just have to drink coffee the keto way. So I did have some headaches when I initially started, but those headaches were it's normal when you start a weight loss journey to have headache or something. So it was normal, and I did start drinking a lot of water. I have this bottle that is about a gallon, so I try to drink it like the whole gallon a day. I try. Some days I don't get to finish it. Some days I finish it. So I don't beat myself up when I don't finish it, because I know that I'm drinking for my body proportion. So, and I also use electrolytes. So I have a couple of electrolytes that I'm going to post a picture of somewhere in this video that I use, and those helped me a lot with like when I was having the headache, and the headache only lasted for like a few days. Once my body got used to it, I was pretty much okay. And it took me from when I started to when I got into the state of ketosis, I think it took me about 3 to 4 days to, you know, like consistently eat keto meal to get into the state of ketosis. So I still eat my burgers. You guys see my Instagram stories all the time. I'm always out eating. I'm always, you know, I always cook a lot too, because I don't like to eat fast food on a regular anyway. I like to eat food in a restaurant. So there's a difference to that. I don't like to eat fast food, but I do love restaurant food. So because I like my meals to be very well prepared. So, but what I do is that when I'm not eating out, I hardly eat fast food. But if you want to eat fast food, you can eat fast food keto way too. Like for instance, what I do, you know, like if I'm having a burger that is not from a restaurant, I just have the burger, you know, like get everything that comes with it, cheese, you know, like, because you wanna get your fat. You remember your fat, you're not running away from the fat, you're not running away from your butter, you're not running away from the oils, you're not running away from the cheese, you know, because you need those things, because that's what keto is about, right? So I get my burger. Say for instance, if I'm having a burger for lunch, I get my burger with, you know, everything that comes on it, cheese, mushroom, bacon if I want to, pickles, my dressing. I typically like mayo on my burger, or ranch, or chipotle mayo. But instead of getting the bun, I tell them to wrap it in lettuce. It is delicious, you guys. And I can also get double burger, or, you know, like one slide. It doesn't matter. So, and another thing I want to mention is that, because a lot of people think that keto means you're starving. You know, keto doesn't mean you're starving at all. As a matter of fact, with keto, because when you want to lose weight, you know, you have to make sure that, for instance, I think the recommended calorie intake for women is 2,000 calories. I could be wrong, but you could look it up. When you want to lose weight, if you eat, you know, like 2,000 calories and above, you're not going to lose weight. But if you eat less, you are going to lose weight. But then if you eat less, depending on what you're eating, then, you know, depends on how fast you see your result. So being on keto, I am in calorie deficit, obviously, because that's the way that I can lose my weight. So I'm in calorie deficit, and I eat about 1,500 calories, 14 to 1,500 calories a day. And for the most part, because you don't want to not meet your calories. You don't want to eat less, because what happens is when you eat less, your body thinks you're starving, right? And you want to eat a lot of food within your calorie deficit, and you don't want to you don't want to eat above your calorie deficit, because that's where you lose. If you eat above your calorie deficit, I think you probably might be in maintenance phase instead of losing weight. And what else? So with keto, ever since I started keto, I do some works, because you cannot catch me running, you guys. I hate running. I just feel like I run like a chicken. So you can't catch me running. And, you know, obviously if I am with someone, I might be motivated to run, but running is not the first thing that I would want to do on my own. But I love to work. But even at that, I don't work all the time. So, and that's one thing I like with keto, because you can lose weight without doing all those exercises. And you should, because I'm going to be signing up for gym, because I want a more defined tone. I'm going to be signing up for gym soon. But prior to now, I have not been working out. You know, I do some mild exercise, you know, like light activities here and there, but I don't have any rigorous, you know, like exercise or that I've been doing. So although like 2 months into keto, I noticed that I plateaued. So I wasn't losing weight, but I wasn't gaining weight. But my goal is to lose weight, right? So I started coupling it with intermediate fasting. I was already doing intermediate fasting before, because pretty much I do intermediate fasting all the time, even before I started keto. So it wasn't hard for me to do intermediate fasting. For those of you who don't know what intermediate fasting is when you have an eating window and you have a window of fast where you don't eat, which typically we do intermediate fasting even without, like being intentional about it, because when you're sleeping, your body is in a fasting state. So what my day typically looks like is, as long as I can remember, I hardly ever eat breakfast. Right from when I was in college, I hardly eat breakfast. On some days, if I wake up hungry, I will eat breakfast, but like 8 out of 10 or even 9 out of 10, I don't eat breakfast most of the time. So, and my body just got used to it. But I do eat breakfast meal throughout the day. So I wouldn't say, oh, I can only eat pancakes in the morning, so because it's afternoon, I'm not gonna eat pancake. No, I eat my pancakes whenever I want to eat my pancakes. And so back to intermediate fasting. It depends. So sometimes I do like the 16 hours of fast and 8 hours of eating windows. Sometimes I do 20 hours of fast and 4 hours of eating windows. So typically if I eat, let's say I have dinner at 5 p.m., the chance of me having another food before I go to bed is extremely slim, because by then I'm full. Or I might have dinner at 6 or even 7, sometimes 8. So whenever I have my last meal, that's when my fast starts. So say for instance, I have my last meal at 5 or 6 or 8. And I say this because I don't have a consistent time. I know that some people have like a consistent time that, oh, this is once it's 8, I cannot eat anymore. I allow myself that flexibility, because sometimes you're doing some things that might not require, that you might not be able to eat at a certain time. You might have a meeting, like you might have to do something that by the time you come back home, or by the time you go out to eat, is past, say your eating window was like 7, it's past 7 p.m. and you're still hungry. You're not like not going to go to bed because your eating window is closed. No, I give myself that flexibility, because remember, I'm trying to make a lifestyle change. I'm not trying to do something that I'm not going to sustain in a long run. I'm trying to do something that I'm going to sustain in a very long run. So I give myself that flexibility, that whenever I eat my last meal is when I start my fast. And my body has pretty much adjusted to that very well, and it works for me. So when you start this, you pretty much have to listen to your body and listen to how your body reacts to keto, how your body reacts to fasting, or any of the lifestyle changes that you're making. So I noticed something, actually, back to when I initially started keto. I told you guys that I did have, like a energy crash, and then I had like a boost of energy. And another thing I noticed, and I told you guys I also had headache, another thing I noticed is that I started, I don't know if I would call it breakout, but it was not a rash, and I don't know if it is a pimple, but I started having something on my back. Okay, so I had some kind of breakout on my back, and typically, oh God, my skin is a very, very bright feature of my body. You guys, like my sisters know, I just, my skin is one of those things that I don't even try hard for. Not my face, okay? My body is one of those things that I don't try hard for. I have a sensitive skin, but it's one of those things that as long as I'm using the right product, which is most often usually the basic products that are not, that are for sensitive skin, I should be fine. Like I use like the basic soap. I use like Irish Spring soap. When I use anything else that's not Irish Spring, my body reacts to it. So that's how basic, my skincare routine is. So when I started having this breakout, oh my God, can imagine my frustration. I was so mad because this is, you guys, I maybe I will insert, if I have the morale, if I have the guts, I will probably insert a picture so you can see, because I want to be very honest with you. If you're going to be making these changes, I want to be very honest with you and tell you my journey so you can make an informed decision. And obviously before you make that decision, you do your own research. So that went on for almost a month, and it went from having those breakouts to now the breakout have, like becoming a black spot that I had to treat. And it was hard even getting the right products that worked for those things. I tried using the products that I use on my face, on my back. It did not work. So what I did is I just stopped totally using anything on it and started using just obviously washing my back when I shower, and then after that using tea tree oil. Like there's a tea tree oil from Gardenology. It's called tea tree oil for problem skin. So I started using that on my back and it worked miracles. Like I stopped having breakouts because I am still doing keto right now, and I'm still like in the state of ketosis. So I stopped having breakouts, and the ones that I already had that were that turned into black spots started fading away. So I thank God for that, because I know that some people have those reactions either in their face where it is more visible, and mine was not. Mine was in my back, even though it's something that can easily conceal, but it meant for that period of time I couldn't wear like a low cut back cloth, or because I was just conscious of that. But now it has gotten so much better, and it is keep getting better because I'm still using the tea tree oil. But other than that, what else? Oh, so when in terms of cheat days, one thing I do is I don't have like a cheat day, I have a cheat meal. So because, okay, I'll come back to that. Let me not go ahead of myself. So with keto, you don't eat a lot of sugar. You don't eat sugar at all. So I use for 3 months now, I haven't eaten sugar, and it feels so good, like so good. And I use Swerve as my sugar substitute, and it's been working magic, because when I make my cheesecake I put Swerve in it. When I'm making my smoothies and I want it to to be sugary, if I'm making brownie or any kind of dessert or anything, I use Swerve, and sometimes monk fruit. Although I like monk fruit because monk fruit has that consistency of sugar and almost the taste of sugar, but the reason why monk fruit is not my first option is because to me it's not affordable, because you can get just this little sachet for like $7, and I think to myself, it's gonna run out fast, and what is the chance of me buying $7 sugar substitute every other week? So I don't use it, although I like it because it doesn't have any aftertaste. But I use Swerve is my go-to, but Swerve doesn't have any aftertaste, so I love it. It's very affordable. I usually buy it from Amazon. Occasionally you will see it at Walmart, but not all the time. Another one that Walmart carries is stevia. Stevia is good, but I don't personally like stevia because it has this bitter aftertaste that I don't like. I haven't tried Truvia, but people swear by it, and there are a whole bunch of other like sugar substitute, but you have to be careful because there are some sugar substitute that is not good for you, especially those that are addictive, that gives you that makes you keep wanting more. And those you can do your research on them. I don't remember the names of some of them, but you can obviously look it up on the internet and get the names of what they are. So yes, so the food, in terms of the food, yes, I still eat a lot of the food that I love. I love pancakes, and I eat pancakes all the time. It could be in the morning, it could be for lunch, it could be for dinner. I don't mind. as long as I'm eating my pancake, I am good. So I love, but now, because you can buy the keto pancake on Amazon, or even I think Trader Joe's have it, Costco has it. You can find it at Walmart as well. You can find it at different places, but I typically like to make mine because then I can control what is in there. So I love to make mine with either almond flour or coconut flour. So I like to make mine, and I like to make it fluffy, and I love to eat it with bacon and sausage or whatever, and I love to eat it with my whipped cream. And this whipped cream I get from Walmart, because Walmart, when you go to Walmart, you can buy a lot of keto friendly things, and Walmart is my go-to store for most of the groceries that I do. So Walmart has their whipped cream, sugar-free whipped cream, but they also have the other ones that is not sugar-free, but has less than 1 grams of sugar, which is not bad. But I just like to I use both. I use either the sugar-free or the other one that's not sugar-free but has less than 1 grams of sugar, and I still get to eat my swallow, my soups. I just eat my soup with cauliflower swallow or flaxseed. Flaxseed is the bomb, you guys. I love flaxseed, because if you're hungry and you need to make something fast, you don't have time to go and do cauliflower swallow, blend it, and sieve it and then put it in the fire. Whereas you can just buy your $2 flaxseed from Walmart and put a psyllium husk in it, and you're good to go. So I haven't stopped eating. There has not really been anything that I say that I would have completely stopped eating, because for everything there's almost always a substitute for it. Rice would have been one of the major ones that I said I stopped eating, but there is the cauliflower rice. And bread, there is keto bread. So there's tacos, there is taco tortilla for keto. So there's a lot of those substitutes that you shouldn't have any problem at all finding the food to eat. On cheat days, let me mention this. On my cheat days, remember I told you guys that I like to have a cheat meal, not a cheat day. Because the difference with having a cheat meal or versus having a cheat day is that you can control when you have that meal, and you can control how much portion you have. And you can, it can just be one meal out of the day instead of being the whole day you're eating out of control. And the thing with that is that I noticed that it works better for me because it's easier for me to bounce back, as opposed to if I ate a whole day, if I ate unhealthy the whole day. And typically what unhealthy would be for me is if I eat a lot of high carbohydrate food, and I like to eat that not at the beginning of the day, because then I'm just gonna crash, because I'm just gonna have my energy is gonna be zero. But if I eat it towards maybe the end of the day, in the afternoon or evening, then I typically would not have any problems with it. I like to make sure that when I eat my cheat meal that I'm still within 100 grams of carbohydrate, or not more than 100 grams of carbs. So whenever I'm eating my cheat meal, depending on what I'm eating, if it's going to be something high in carbohydrate, then I reduce the fat that I eat that day. I don't eat a lot of fat that day. So if it is something that is going to be high in protein, with protein I think you really can't even go wrong, even though you should not really be eating a lot of protein, but you would not, it's not like you can't go wrong with it, if that makes sense. So yeah. Oh, I noticed that when I have something that had sugar, because I had maybe a slice of cake, and I hadn't had a slice of cake in a long time, a slice of cake that was not keto, because I make my own cake. I make my own cheesecake, I make my own brownies, I make my own red velvet cake, whatever cake at all that I want to make, I make it. The only difference in making those cake is that instead of using all-purpose flour, you're using almond flour or coconut flour, and instead of using sugar, you're using those sugar substitutes. So that's the only difference, and most of the time it tastes the same. If someone doesn't tell you that this is keto, you will not know it's that keto. I make keto food all the time, and my sisters and my brother, they eat it, you know, and sometimes they're like, oh, it's a keto food. I'm like, no, don't be eating my keto food, you know, because I had to now go through the whole making of the process again. But I make it all the time, and they eat it, and they don't even know it's keto, and they love it. So sometimes, unless if someone really tell you, oh, this is keto, most of the time you might not be able to tell that it's not, you know, like it's not the regular, you know, that contains like sugar and carbs. What else have I not mentioned? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Okay, so I follow I follow on Instagram. There's a lot on YouTube. There's a lot of information about keto. There are a lot of people who are doing it. On Instagram, there's a lot of page about keto, so you can get recipes from there. And I use an app. Yes, I was gonna forget to mention that I use an app to track my calories, because remember, based on what your weight is, based on what your goal is, like how much you want to lose, based on what your age is, based on your height, it will give you like a macros. A macros is pretty much how much fat you should eat a day, how many grams of fat you should eat a day, how many grams of protein you should eat a day, how many grams of carbohydrate you should eat a day, and what your total calories should be. So I use an app called Carb Manager, and I also use an app called, I think it's Total Keto Diet. I use that for when I want to get like a fun recipe, and it's really good. But one person that got me on keto and has been helping me through it is Esther, Ketogenic Esther on Instagram. She is amazing. I remember when I initially started, because actually how I got on keto is she started keto, right? So when she started, I was laughing at her. I'm like, this girl, you know, she's crazy, because she was just being very intentional about her goals and her weight and what she wanted to achieve from it. And I was just laughing at her, and right in front of me, I saw her lose 50 pounds. I was like, what? I literally knew when you started. And when I started, she was so helpful. Every question I had, no matter how stupid or trivial it was, she was ready to help answer my questions, you know, like help me out, you know, like sent me some shopping list. She was just so helpful, held me accountable, you know, even some days when you are when you know, like you're tempted, you know, she was just there, you know, even with getting tested to see your ketone level, you know, she helped me with that. Initially measuring my food and knowing, you know, like how much is going into what, you know, she helped me with that. And I actually bought my first ever food scale, which I barely even use now but it's still there for if I ever need it. So I just keto has been something that I'm grateful for, because for a long time I struggled with my weight, and it's just, you know, like I struggled with my weight. And when you are in a place where you don't feel good physically, it affects you. I remember, you know, like my stomach has always been something that, you know, that has always been big, and thank God keto is helping me put it in control. Keto has been something that has helped me and tremendously, and I'm so grateful for that. And I don't see myself getting off keto anytime soon. I think it's something that I'm just gonna keep doing. There are a lot of people who have been doing keto for 8 years, you know, like 10 years and 5 years, and you see their success and you see their maintenance, you see them sustaining it, you know, and it's amazing. And a lot of stores, a lot of brands are producing keto version of things, which is totally awesome, because then you can have keto, you can, you know, like have your journey, your lifestyle journey easy. So if I missed anything, let me know. I'll be happy to share more information with you guys. You know, if there's any question you have, I'll be happy to answer it. So I hope that this has covered some of the questions that you have, and I hope that this video was very informative and very insightful. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.